This is the seventh in a series of training videos on Essence as it's used in Virginia. This video will go over the functionality and organization of the Query Manager. For how to create and save queries to the Query Manager, see videos 3, 4, and 5. The Query Manager is where time series queries are stored when they are saved from the query portal or shared by other Essence users in Virginia. Queries can be organized in custom groupings for easier management. The Query Manager also contains additional functionality for data analysis and display, which we will cover in this training video. To access the Query Manager, select the fourth from the right tab in the main navigation menu at the top of the screen. Queries are listed alphabetically by grouping category and then by name. To open a saved query, first check the box on the left, then select one of the links marked Show or Show Today next to the query of interest. Show will return the query results as a time series graph using the original saved date range as indicated by the start date and end date listed to the right of the query name. Show Today will return the query results as a time series graph for the most recent 90 days, regardless of the original date range saved in the query. In order to change the query label or grouping category of a query, select the checkbox next to the query label and select Edit in the gray toolbar above. A pop-up window will appear and allow you to edit the label or query name and its grouping category. To share a query with another Essence user in Virginia, select the checkbox next to the query label and select Share in the gray toolbar above. A pop-up window will appear that allows users to edit the query name, grouping category, and select other Essence users to share the query with. Select Share when complete. Keep in mind that the query results a user sees will depend upon the jurisdiction to which that Essence user is assigned. If another user has shared a query with you, it will appear in your Query Manager with their name listed to the right. To delete a query, select the checkbox next to the query label and select Delete in the gray toolbar above. A pop-up window will appear confirming intent to delete a query. Select Yes to delete. The Query Manager includes other functionality that allows you to compare and contrast multiple data trends for more complex analysis. The MultiSeries time series graph overlays trends from multiple saved queries into a single time series graph. Queries using different search parameters or data sources can be combined using this functionality. To create a MultiSeries time series graph, check the boxes next to the names of the queries you want to view, then select MultiSeries time series in the gray toolbar above. A pop-up window will appear with options for how to combine and configure the new MultiSeries time series graph. Within the Style option, Single plots all of the selected queries on the same chart. Multiple Large will plot each query on its own large chart. Multiple Small will plot each query on its own small chart. When using the Single Graph option, there are 4 possible date alignments with which to overlay the different queries' trends together. Actual dates will plot the 2 time series trends in the same image but retain the originally saved date ranges. The x-axis will be marked by the calendar date. Global dates will run both queries for a set number of days prior to the current date. You can choose this set number of days in the box below the date alignment dropdown. Start Together and End Together will both display the data trends overlaid based on the dates from the originally saved queries so that they share either a start date or an end date. With these options, the x-axis will be marked by the number of days past the start date instead of the actual calendar dates. The Global Dates option is useful for comparing queries that might be related and have similar timescales. For example, you could compare animal bites and requests for rabies post-exposure prophylaxis for the past 90 days. The Start Together and End Together options are good for comparing the same query during different time periods. For example, if you saved a query for influenza-like illness from both the 2013 to 2014 and 2014 to 2015 seasons, then you can easily compare the severity of flu over multiple years. The denominator function allows you to compare 2 queries in one trendline graph. First, select your query or queries to use as your numerator. Click MultiSeries time series and select your basic parameters. Global Denominator will apply the same query as a denominator for all numerators you've chosen. You can select to view the percent, the count, or the denominator as a trend line graph. In this case, Count refers to the trendline graph for the query you selected, as the numerator and denominator shows the trendline graph for that query. If you selected a single query with multiple parameters as the numerator, then you will also have the option of viewing a stratified denominator. For example, my cough and sore throat query includes multiple subsyndromes. I can run a stratified denominator against this query and it will return both subsyndromes separately against the denominator. For more tips, see the text below the parameters. An intersecting time series also allows you to compare trends in the same graph. Unlike the MultiSeries, however, an intersecting time series displays a single trend line that represents when the criteria for two separate queries are both met. To create an intersecting time series graph, check the boxes next to the names of the relevant queries, then select Intersecting Time Series in the gray toolbar above. Only two queries can be selected for intersecting time series. A pop-up window will appear with options to configure how the queries intersect. You will have the option of selecting the primary query, the temporal relationship, and whether the correlation should be positive or negative. The text box below these options will clarify the relationship criteria you've selected for the two queries. For example, we can look at the dates for which there were visits for both animal bites and requests for post-exposure prophylaxis. This particular view illustrates the Richmond, Henrico, and Chesterfield districts, as this type of query is more useful on a local scale. You can also create a My Alert based on any of the queries you have saved in the Query Manager. When you select a query and click Create My Alert, a pop-up window will appear. From here, you can edit the query name, choose to enable the My Alert or not, and select the details of the alert. Records of Interest allows you to query for rare events with small visit numbers. If you check this box, your My Alert will return any results in line level format so that you can monitor individual visits. If you select Detection, you will be given a series of ways to refine your alert. We've previously discussed in other training videos that there are multiple formulae for calculating alerts. We recommend the default option, Regression EWMA 1.2, with the default threshold of 0.05. You can also choose to create an alert based on a minimum count of records in a day, a set number of alerts in a given time frame, or a set number of consecutive alerts. From here, you can choose to share your My Alert with other Essence users in Virginia. The default option will not share the alert with anyone besides you. Once you've saved your My Alert and clicked OK, you'll be able to view any future notifications in the My Alerts tab at the top of the page. Until a data value meets the criteria you saved for your alert, nothing will appear in this tab. A future video will go more in depth on the My Alerts tab. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the Enhanced Surveillance team at VDH Central Office by emailing syndromic@vdh.virginia.gov.